Hello and welcome to Aging Matters. This is a show that is provided by and sponsored by the Berks County Area Agency on Aging. My name is Ann Barlet. I'm Public Advocacy and Outreach Manager for the agency. Our show today is with Cheryl Gouker. I'd like to introduce my guest, Cheryl Gouker. She is the Marketing and Public Affairs Manager for the AAA Reading-Berks. Welcome, Cheryl. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. We're the other AAA.
I was just going to say, not to be confused with our AAA
right.
of the
So
Area
happy
Agency
to be with
on
you
Aging.
again.
Thank you. We have some great information to talk about today, and I think that January is an appropriate time to talk about safe driving tips for senior drivers. And so I think I want to just start right away, Cheryl, with, general safety when we're driving, whether it be during the winter or not. But I think with consideration to seniors, safe driving, and then winter. We were talking earlier that just coming to work this morning could have been hazardous to my health.
It could be any day.
We have folks weaving in and out, and I've seen people who, at this time, particularly we're hustling and bustling, trying to get things done, and they're distracted. You can see that they're maybe weaving, so something's going on, riding two lanes, or you're looking, you can see that they're talking and texting or whatever. So I think the best was, what we need to talk about in terms of that. The biggest tip is avoid distracted driving, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We are all about driver safety, traffic safety for not only the motorists, all the road sharers, your bicyclists, your pedestrians, everybody that's sharing that same space. So it's really on us as drivers to be aware of what's going on around us. And we have the class for the insurance discount for senior drivers. And one of the things we talk a lot about is risk. You're never going to eliminate risk. You could be the only car on a straight stretch of road out in the countryside, nobody else around you, but there's still risk. You could still have a deer jump out in front of you, your tire blows out, you could have a medical emergency. So it's really important that we have our focus on what we're doing, and that's the driving task. Not tuning the radio, not adjusting our seat belt or talking to the kids in the back of the car, do I have to stop this car, all that kind of thing. So I'm a parent, you can tell, right? So, so we talk a little bit about looking and seeing, and a distraction could be many things, So I have a little exercise. I'm going to put you to the test, my friend Ann. And this is a little exercise we do with our class, with our participants. So I'm going to hand you a deck of cards, just a regular 52 card deck for playing cards. And I'm going to ask you to separate those cards into the four suits: the hearts, the spades, the diamonds, the clubs. I'm going to time you as you separate my deck of cards. And this is going to simulate you're a good driver, you're going to be focused, no distractions, right? So I think I've shuffled that pretty good. I'm going to hand you the deck of cards.
Everyone's watching.
Oh, just forget them. So I'm going to
sorry.
Go ahead. You can go ahead.
Okay.
Yep.
Let me make some room here. All righty. Hopefully are you checking my work?
I'm not going to check your work.
I'm going to know if I screw up. If I put the spade with something else.
That.
Oops, I got stuck.
Yeah, they stick a little bit. They're worn.
Okay.
Okay. So that took you 40 seconds. Now, what we're going to do now is I want you to shuffle that back up. Shuffle real well. And this time, you're going to be a driver, but I'm going to introduce to you a cognitive distraction. So when we talk in class about cognitive distractions, that can be you thinking, what am I going to have for supper? Like, I'm going to have a load of laundry. Exactly.
What are my next stops?
Exactly. So while you may have your eyes open on the road and you know what you're doing as far as operating your motor vehicle, part of that brain is now on other task, right? So just shuffle that up nice and, okay,
think I
so
did.
I'm gonna give you a choice. You can either have me ask you math questions, or I can just ask you general information questions. These are gonna be questions I know you know the answer to,
Okay.
but you still have to think about it.
Let's do the question thing.
That's it. Most
That
people
might
do
take
that.
longer.
Most people do that. All
We could
right.
be here for the half an hour doing that.
All right. So remember, 40 seconds undisturbed,
Okay.
undistracted. All right. Here we go. All right. So how long did it take you to drive into the office today, Ann?
Oh, about 20 minutes.
Okay. Did you go the normal route, or did you have to avoid
I did
school
take the
buses?
normal route into the city of Reading today.
Nice.
Yep.
So how many rooms are in your house?
Oh, goodness. I have to think about that one, don't I? Oh, no. Let me see. I'll take an average guess of, I don't know, 8 to 10.
Okay. All right. Which is your favorite room?
Oh, you know, I have refinished my basement, so I think that's a good thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is very nice. So are you a reader?
Yes, I am. I love to read.
Do you like fiction or nonfiction?
Yes, I like I'll be very specific. I like a good murder mystery.
Oh, like Agatha Christie?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, nice.
I read a lot of other ones too.
Okay.
I'm
Oh, very
done.
good. All right. So that took you 56 seconds. So 16 seconds more, all right, because your mind was just not focused on the driving task.
Right.
And can you imagine how far your car travels in 16 seconds going 55 miles per
Wow.
hour?
No, you don't think about it, but
Right.
I can imagine.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever thought about, you might be driving down the road and you think, I don't remember the last couple miles I just drove, right? So, and it happens to all of us.
Yes.
You know, we all have such hectic lives. So it just, again, proves the point that we just have to make sure we set aside everything when we're behind the wheel and the car is in motion. So, you know, when we talk about other general driver safety, make sure we have our seatbelts on. A big thing right now that we're really trying to educate the motoring public about is our slow down, move over law. You know,
so tell us again.
absolutely, yeah. So when you come upon an emergency situation at the side of the road. Now this can be a disabled car with their flashers on or flares out. It could be a police officer at a stop. Maybe he's helping a motorist.
Okay.
It can be emergency responder, including like EMT, fire, road service, tow trucks. Any of those situations where there's soft human bodies outside your nice, strong physical vehicle that can, and they're just operating, they're doing their job as best they can roadside while people are going 65 miles per hour and you're this far from this, and you can only imagine if a soft human body is struck by a motor vehicle, the vehicle's going to win. You know.
So what's the law that we have to do?
So when you come across that a type of emergency situation, we want you to move over. If at all possible, check your rearview mirrors and all that, check your door mirrors. If it's safe to do so, make a lane change away from the emergency scene and give that little bit of extra space to that emergency worker who is trying to do their job. Now, if there are cars on the other side of you and it's not safe to make that lane change, please reduce your speed. We want to have a realistic reduction in your speed. I'm not talking 5 miles per hour. I'm talking a significant reduction in speed without being slow to the point where you're a hazard as well. Yeah, so we want, the best case is move over one lane, but if you can't, please reduce your speed. That's going to lessen the risk to that roadside emergency responder.
Good, I'm glad you reminded us of that. That's important, and there's more people on the road all the time, day and night, and those incidences that we come across, so thank you.
Absolutely.
I want to now kind of switch gears a little bit to more of let's focus also then on winter and winter safety. And I know that before, as we prepare to even drive, there are some things we probably should be doing.
Oh, absolutely. So let's maintain our car well. This some people don't think about when they air up their tires, they forget that they have a spare in the trunk if they have a spare in the trunk. Did you know that many new cars don't have a spare tire? And that
And we don't
sometimes
know
people
that,
are
though.
surprised. Oh my goodness, I didn't know I didn't have one.
Yes.
But when you need to get into a good routine of checking the tire pressure in your vehicles, and your vehicle's tires. Now, some vehicles now have a dash warning that they'll say, oh, the left rear tire is low. But that only happens when you get a certain, like 15 pounds less or something like that. I don't remember the exact number. So if you get into that routine of checking your tires while they're cold, okay, that's going to give you a more accurate PSI or pounds per square inch measurement of the air pressure. So, and anybody, you can go to a Wawa or any place to air them up, or have your maintenance man, your tech, your automotive tech, to check everything, check those when they maybe check your hoses. You know, we'll make sure if we're going to go any distance, make sure that you have you know, your hoses, your battery. You know, AAA checks your battery. If you have a dead battery, we come to you. We sell the batteries. We can install them right there on the spot. AAA members get a discount. But we just want to make sure that our cars are in good condition. You know, make sure you get that maintained. Yeah, and in the wintertime, especially dangerous is the buildup of snow and ice on our vehicles. You know, I don't know if you've ever seen vehicles going down the road that you have about a 12-inch square spot that they've cleaned off their windshield, and that's it, you know.
And we forget that what's on the roof, as we're going and it's warmer, it starts to come down in front of you on your windshield, and then hence the problem.
And we have Christine's Law now. It was signed into law by Governor Wolf back in 2022. There was a young woman, her name was Christine, and on Christmas Day 2005, she was in her vehicle, and a piece of ice fell off a tractor trailer, went through her windshield, and killed her. So it's just, you know, it's the law. You must remove all the snow and ice off of your vehicle within 24 hours after the snow event has ceased. And that means everything. And you think about it, if you have snow on your headlights, are they going to be effective?
Right, exactly.
You know, you really
No
need
one's
to be
gonna
able
see
to
you coming,
exactly. It just makes sense. The citation is $50. You can be fined if you're stopped, and a police officer can stop you because it looks like you are a danger to yourself or others. And if any snow or ice comes off your vehicle and hurts somebody else, the fines are up to $1,500. So because it's a serious thing.
Sure.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
And there are a couple of things, you know, that we need. You know, I mentioned about having your seatbelt on. Don't start to drive if you're starting a new medication, because you're not sure how your body's going to react to that till you really know what you're doing. Don't drive emotional, you know, things like that.
Yes. Yeah, we get that one. Okay. How about, well, maybe we should, I see, who is this with us?
Well,
let's say
her name is Dolly.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Dolly is here to demonstrate, or you're demonstrating something.
She's being very kind.
So as a senior, we may have young ones with us, whether it's you know, grandchildren or any person that we have in our car that we're taking. Maybe we're picking up and dropping off from games and events and whatever.
Absolutely.
So if you could help us with Dolly, so we're prepared to help them too.
Absolutely, yeah. So we do car seat checks at AAA by appointment only. So if you want to do a car seat check, my phone number is there on the little card there. You can call for an appointment. But in the wintertime, you know, we have these big puffy snowsuits and coats and everything for the kids when they're out, you know, building their snowmen and snow forts and things like that. But a puffy coat is not appropriate when you're putting your child in a car seat, okay? Because the puffiness of the coat will compress in a crash, and then you're introducing slack in the harness. So I don't know if it's going to be all right if I just stand up here a little bit. So we have Dolly here in her car seat, all nice and appropriate. We have the harness retainer clip up at the armpit level where it needs to be. The harness is back through the car seat back at her shoulder height or slightly above. And we have no slack in that harness. Now, how do we keep Dolly warm? So Dolly absolutely has a coat. Yeah. So once Dolly is in her seat, we're going to put her coat on backwards. So we're going to take her arms through the sleeves so that she still gets the warmth and you would do the same thing on the other side. So now she's going to get that warmth.
Okay.
You know, but it's not going to impact, negatively impact her should somebody do something silly in front of your car and you have to make an emergency stop. She's nice and warm. Yeah.
I see. Well, that's a nice tip. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right.
You're welcome.
So in being safe in the vehicle, we have kind of prepared the vehicle for our driving, whether it be routine driving or driving specifically for winter. We're aware of some of the hazards and the causes of some of those things and the precautions and the laws that we need to follow, kind of keeping some other people safe. You know, we're mobile.
We are.
And our cars allow us to go a lot of places. And so in that, many times, whether it's a holiday time, long weekends, when we get vacations and holidays, long weekends, or just we're going from point A to B, we may be hitting rough terrain unexpectedly, or there may be, you know, I know we've all traveled where there's an accident of some sort on a major highway.
Oh, sure.
You're stuck on lines.
Oh, sure.
So how do we prepare for that kind of scenario or situation, you know, for us driving in our vehicles?
Very important. So you might remember Valentine's Day a couple of years ago up on 78. People were stuck for days. So it does happen. So you really want to make sure that you are prepared for such an eventuality, whether it be something like that, or you just ran out of gas, or other kind of thing with your car that just decided it's not going to run any longer, right? So if it's cold out, you certainly want to be prepared for that. So a few things to have in your trunk, perhaps. You might want to consider having a blanket. You know, just any little blanket. Just have that in your trunk to help keep you warm.
I'm going to interrupt you there for a second. It just hits me. I had a blanket from a previous discussion we had together, you and I put my blanket in my trunk. And honestly, it was a beautiful day, and a young girl had a car accident. And she had veered off a road, and as I saw it, you know, it's one of those where, and I was kind of I was debating getting off too at that same location, and I wasn't sure if I could, but as I was able to and pulled over, I grabbed the blanket out just so she would have something.
How wonderful.
You know,
You're such a nice person.
But just so you know that situation,
Yes.
It was a younger driver,
Yeah.
you know, kind of like, what am I doing? I want to call my mom, and she just needed that
Oh,
extra,
that is
besides
so
us,
nice.
the comfort with that blanket. So it came in handy for others as well as yourself in that situation.
See, I love multi-purpose, you know, repurposing things too. So yeah, that's great. If you get stuck in the snow, you might want to have like this is just a little rug. It gives you some traction underneath your drive wheels just to get out as you do that rocking motion.
I was just going to say, tell us how to use that with as we're maneuvering our vehicle.
Oh, absolutely. So if you're stuck, you just got to kind of gently rock back and forth because you don't want to spin your wheels. All that's going to do is dig your hole down in deeper, right? So people use kitty litter, sand, ash, anything that's going to give your wheels a little bit of grip. And of course, if you're maintaining your vehicle and the tires, you know, many times people have a winter tire with an aggressive tread on for the winter months. You might live in a rural area, you know, long driveway and all that. So chains are great. We just have to remember that we can only have our chains on from mid-November to mid-April.
Okay.
But chains are very nice. So yes, but if you find yourself stuck, just gently rock back and forth. And of course, if it's just not going to work, then you call your AAA.
Exactly.
If you remember,
Help.
we're happy to help. Absolutely help. Right.
Yes.
So if you have to get out of your car for any reason, it's nice to have something that's highly visible, makes you visible to oncomers. So you might just want to have a safety vest on. And this is important because if you're stuck where there's snow, you want to make sure your tailpipe is, all the snow is removed from your tailpipe. So you don't want any bad gases to come into your vehicle and make you sick, right?
Okay.
So something nice and high vis.
Can we get that anywhere? I mean.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Any of your big, I've seen them in auto parts stores.
Oh, okay.
I've seen them at your big box stores for home improvement. Walmart,
Okay.
any of those,
Okay,
you
good.
can basically
All
find
right.
them. And if you can't find them, call me and I'll find one for you.
All right.
I also have some reflective gloves. These are nice. You want to have gloves just to keep your hands warm, but the reflective tape is just an extra measure of protection,
Okay.
and you can actually just get reflective tape at Walmart
Okay.
and then do your own thing, on your regular gloves. I have a little rag here. So the international sign of distress is something hanging outside your window, right?
Yes.
So you can have something of any
Okay,
color.
okay.
But, and this just is a little chamois microfiber, so you can also use it to wipe off your windows and things like
Dual
that.
purpose, okay.
Absolutely. I have the little ice scraper here. Well, you can get these in just about any size.
Right.
You can get this tiny little
Right.
thing. You can get the extended poles if you have like a van or a larger truck. But again, we're trying to make sure we don't become a bad driver by negatively impacting other drivers sharing the road with us by not being, conscious of how we affect them. You want to have some water.
Okay.
So have some water. If you take medication, not a bad idea to have
Have
your
some with you.
medication with you. Yeah, even if you do, nobody plans to be stuck. Nobody plans for their car to break down,
Yes.
But if you kind of just keep these things in your car, a flashlight with batteries.
Yes, that would be
you
the
have
thing
to make
too.
sure you have good batteries. So
Yes.
again, just check
Change
that every
those.
once in a while. Yep, just make sure that they're working for you. Maybe a few energy snacks.
Oh,
These are
okay.
just some little nuts, things like that. Something that, like, if you're going to be in your car for a while, chill out with your water and keep a little snack on you, especially if you have like a diabetes or some kind of thing that you have to make sure your blood sugar is where it needs to be.
Yeah.
Yep. I have some hand warmers here. They're available at most any
Everywhere.
place you go.
Yeah.
So they're just nice to have, just because if your car is broken down and you can't run the engine to keep yourself warm, then these are a nice, nice alternative to that. I have little things that light up. You can get these little button lighters. You can get large items that will light up. So that's kind of nice. Just
To alert that you're on that side of the road. or
exactly,
stuck there.
exactly.
Okay.
Not everybody has flares anymore, and
Right.
sometimes people are a little leery of using something that has a flame to
Yes.
it. You can also get this. This is a thing that collapses. And if I can get it to operate. Well, anyway, it's supposed to. There it goes. All right.
Ah,
Doesn't take a lot of room in your trunk.
isn't that cute?
But use 3 of these, right?
Yep.
And the best practice is to take it and put it at 100, 200, and 300 feet behind your breakdown location, right? Because that gives oncoming drivers
Some warning.
plenty of, they don't know, maybe if you're around a bend or something, they don't know what's going on, but they know something's going on.
Good idea.
And hopefully if they're paying attention to what's going on, then they will look for you.
That's cool. That's a great device. Yeah.
And I also have a kit here. This kit has all kinds of different things. Looks like there's a shovel, jumper cables. Now, don't use jumper cables if you're not sure how to use them. You can do more damage than good. Ice scraper, gloves, things like that. So there's so many different versions of those kits. But again, it doesn't take a lot of room in your trunk. And who knows?
Right.
You might be able to use it. It might help you out in a crazy
That's great.
situation.
That's super. That's wonderful. So I'm thinking of somebody I might want to get some stuff for.
Nice gift. Nice
Yes.
gift. Something coming up for a special occasion. Sure.
We have a couple of minutes yet.
Okay.
And the last thing you mentioned earlier, so I want us to share with the audience about the AAA RoadWise driver classes. You mentioned that. And so share with us what that's all about and how we get to learn when they are, where they are, et cetera.
Absolutely. So we have them at the AAA office. We also have them at the Boyertown Senior Center on a restricted schedule. So PennDOT says you need to start out with an 8-hour class. So we have classes alternate Saturdays. We have them in the afternoon. We have them in the morning. Sometimes we have them all day. With an hour off for lunch and midday. Sometimes we have them divided into 2 4-hour days.
Okay.
So then PennDOT says once you've got that initial program under your belt, then every 3 years you must take a 4-hour refresher.
Oh.
Now the reason the reason most people do it, if not everybody does it, is for the discount on their insurance premium.
Okay.
So the Pennsylvania law says any insurance company that's allowed to write a policy for a Pennsylvania resident, and that resident has taken an approved class, AAA is one of the 3 that are approved in Pennsylvania, as long as everybody on your insurance policy is 55 years of age or older, they don't have any chargeable motor vehicle violations on the driving record for the past 3 years, then they are entitled to that at least 5% discount on their insurance policy. So you can save some money, but I think it's funny because I will often talk to participants after the class who they were just there for their insurance discount. They just wanted to save a few dollars, and I will ask them, did you learn anything? And inevitably, they will say they did. One of the most common things they've learned is you don't put your hands at 10 and 2, right? There's that airbag there. You dare not have your hands at 10 and 2. It's got to be 8 and 4 or 9 and 3 at the highest. But we have the classes there. And
is there a fee for those classes?
There is a fee. So AAA members pay $15 for the 8-hour class and $10 for the 4-hour class. Now, if both a husband and wife are married and they have a membership in their own name, then we save another $5. So they would pay $25 for the 8-hour class, $15 for the 4-hour class. And right now I'm running a special.
Oh, okay, we like specials.
Yeah, we special. So one of the things that we talk about during the class is medicine safety. So a lot of us are taking various types of medicine, you know, for whatever thing that we're going through, right? So if we have our grandkids over, are we keeping those medicines in a safe place out of reach, especially for these little ones, because we want to prevent an accidental poisoning. So the first 20 callers that call me after the airing of this show, I'm going to give them a free medicine lockbox.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Yeah. So I have 20 at the office, and just call the number on the card there, 484-987-7025, and I'll give you a free medicine lockbox. But everybody else will get a free copy of, we have a senior transportation mobility planner. Most of us will be facing a time when we cannot drive any longer.
Right.
So now we need to have a plan in place. Is there public transportation? Do I know how to do the Uber? Do I know how to do rideshare? Because we do classes at the AAA on how to do rideshare.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so we have that. Everybody gets a copy of that. And they'll get a copy of the Advanced Driver Assistance Technology for Older Driver Safety. So these newer cars are, man, they are smack dab full of all kinds of neat technology. And you know, if you started driving, you know, before there was even automatic transmissions, and when the dimmer switch was still on the floor, I remember that. You know, there's a lot of stuff that maybe you don't know what your car is doing. So it's a nice, handy dandy little thing. And if you're in the market for a new car, there might be some suggestions in that booklet, what you might look for in a car. If you have stiffness in your joints, you know, there's different things about the different features of vehicles. So, yeah.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
You've given us a lot of good information in this short period of time. I want to thank you again,
Oh, you're
Cheryl.
welcome. Thank you for
in
having
the
me.
last minute, I would ask that you review how we reach you again, whether you want it and what's on if you have a website, what's on it, and how to reach you.
Absolutely. So I would guide everybody towards the website. It's AAA.com, AAA.com. There's a car and driving tab on the homepage. Click on that tab, and you're going to find explanations of the different traffic safety programs that we do have, including the Roadwise Driver class schedule.
And when
absolutely. And then my phone number is 484-987-7025. I'm always happy to talk to anybody about driver safety concerns they may have. I love stories I can share in the class. So yeah, I'm always happy to talk to somebody about traffic safety.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. This has been, I think, very helpful to me, and I'm assuming helpful to everybody else who is watching. So I appreciate your volume and knowledge of all things, I'll say, safety related for us. So thank you so much, Cheryl, for being here and sharing this information with us.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you for tuning in to Aging Matters.